Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here in Delft this afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a lot of first times for me this afternoon. It's actually, I think, the first time I'm a keynote speaker, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. It's the first time that TU Delft, my former employer, invited me to speak here in Delft, in my hometown. It's the first time I wear such a microphone, so I hope it will work. I think I will be zooming out a little bit today. I represent the VSNU, the Association of the 14 Dutch Research Universities, and I will discuss a subject a little bit broader than research data. So I hope that you will be interested in this point of view as well. My apologies for not being here this morning. I was in Wageningen. VSNU organizes today an onderwijsfestival, a festival of education, and I listened to the keynote of Ruth Graham there. I'll come back to her work later in my talk, but she developed a framework of rewarding and rewarding education and teaching. So I think I got a very nice introduction already. For the people from abroad, this is the Netherlands. What's special about the Netherlands is that we're very small. We have 14 research universities, and we can all sit on one table in the Netherlands discussing several subjects. So yesterday I was secretary to a informal meeting of the Dutch rectors. They can all sit on one table and discuss several subjects. And as a policy advisor at VSNU, I can help them to formulate policy on a national level. And today I would like to speak about recognition and rewards, recognizing and rewarding scientists for the work that they do broader than just the research that they do, the publications they write and the citations they get. And when I use the word scientist, I mean the Dutch word wetenschapper, which is not only natural sciences, but it's broader. So I mean all sciences and arts, the work that they do in all these disciplines. And in my talk, I would like to start with some limitations of the current recognition and reward process. Is it possible how can we change recognizing and rewarding scientists? I will show a few important papers on this subject, and I will get to some concluding remarks. Okay, so at the VSNU we just started a project on recognition and rewards. We started it in this January, so all of this work is really at some starting point. So we're just trying to get an overview. Okay, what's this subject about? What's important? What are important movements at the moment on recognizing and rewarding scientists? We look at how do we do this actually as universities or as the 14 Dutch research universities. And if we want to change something in this process of recognizing and rewarding scientists, it will have a lot of influence on the career perspectives of our talented people. So it's also a pretty sensitive subject. If you change something here at TU Delft, for example, and the researcher would like to go abroad, would like his new to be employed at a university in a different country or even overseas, then it might affect the career of our people. But I also think it is really an important subject because the current system of recognizing and rewarding scientists has some drawbacks, and I would like to show you in my talk some of these drawbacks. I think most important is that some things our scientists do not get enough rewards, and that is teaching, that's societal impact, management competencies, teamwork, and open science. I think these are the most important things, and I think data stewardship, data management, sharing data, using data of others, that would be under the flag of open science. But what we chose as VSNU in the project we do is to zoom a little bit out and look at a complete perspective of the reward system and what could be rewarded more. I think it's a complex subject because as a university or as a country we cannot change the evaluation of scientists on our own. Well, we see that there are several movements right now. There's this open science movement, and there are a lot of people now saying, well, to make a success of open science, to really make sure that researchers share their data, that they reuse data from others, then we should really change the way we evaluate and reward people. And there is this a movement of people specialized in teaching excellence in education. Well, they also say that if we want to be sure that teaching quality improves, then we should change something in the way we evaluate and we reward our people. Teaching should be more important. And I think also in entrepreneurial skills, managerial skills, you see these same, the same questions from people. Well, this should be rewarded more, and I think open science is an important driver of this debate. So I think in the papers you see is that open science is plays an important role, but I think these three papers for the debate in the Netherlands play a very important role. It's the San Francisco Declaration on Research Assessment, DORA. It actually says that journal impact factor should not have such an important role in the evaluation and rewards of scientists. You should get a broader perspective and look at more than just publications and citations and the impact factor. In the Netherlands we also had this science in transition movement, and I think that's one of the only papers we found until now which also discusses teaching and discusses the reward system, citations, publications, and also takes the perspective of societal relevance, because we don't only do research because we want to know what it's about, because we are curious, but we also want to do something, and we should do something for society. So also the societal impact of our work is important, and we should evaluate our people also on societal relevance. And I think the third important paper which is crucial in this debate is the Leiden Manifesto on research metrics, and this paper discusses some drawbacks of using research metrics and does suggestions on the responsible use of research metrics. So this is how we start the project we do at the VSNU. We first look into what's already written on this subject, and in a further step would be to try to write down something we can all agree on as Dutch research universities on this issue of recognition and rewards. But I think it's not easy to write down on this subject something we all agree on, because there are so many differences between disciplines. There are differences between universities, differences in the opinions of our rectors. So it's not an easy job we do at VSNU to get everyone together. But I hope we will be able to manage that. So the first step is look into these papers. I think these are the most important papers on this open science perspective, on the perspective of sharing your data, reusing data, and how important it is to change something in the system of recognizing scientists to make this open science agenda really work. And you might know that in the Netherlands we have this national plan, Open Science. It was written last year by a lot of people, but chaired by the director of this TU Delft library. And it's a pretty broad agenda, an agenda on open access publication, on research data, on recognizing and rewarding scientists, and on stimulating open science. So also in this Dutch how do you say it, in the Dutch platform of open science, we will work together on these subjects. And I'm a member of a group also writing a paper on recognizing and rewarding open science within this open science policy platform. This group is chaired by the Royal Society, the KNW, and we also write on recognizing open science activities and, for example, sharing data, reusing data, and how you can reward this as at the level of a researcher, at the level of a research group, and at the level of research proposals. I think that in the summer this paper will be finalized, so we might be able to share it with you. We also have in the Netherlands the Landelijk Coördinatiepunt Research Data Management. You probably all know about this. Ingeborg Verheul will just represent this LCRDM. And also within this Landelijk Coördinatiepunt there was a group thinking about rewarding research data management, and I think they also have some really nice thoughts about how this could be rewarded more, also on a level, mostly on a level of the research group. So we have a standard evaluation protocol in the Netherlands, and every research group is evaluated by this evaluation protocol, and this group of Landelijk Coördinatiepunt has some real nice proposals about rewarding, reusing data, how a research group can write about that in their self-evaluation in this research evaluation protocol. Another important paper on the subject of research data management and rewarding research data management is a paper of the Open Science Policy platform, and in this paper there's a matrix, the Open Science Career Assessment matrix, and this matrix is about assessing open science activities of researchers, and it also has some concrete proposals for rewarding reusing data, sharing data, and these are their proposals. So what can you evaluate in your researchers? That's if they use fair data principles, if they adopt quality standards in data management and make use of data of others. So the other perspective is rewarding teaching more in the careers of our scientists. And I already explained that I was this morning at our VSNU Onderwijsfestival. Ruth Graham presented there the career framework for university teaching, and that's a really elaborated framework on the levels of excellence in teaching. And I think that might be, it really inspired me, and I think it might also inspire you to think of such a framework for people who do a lot on sharing data and reusing data, and how you can, what could be the steps to become excellent in sharing and reusing data. And research data stewardship. So I think this work from the teaching perspective might be very interesting as well for open science and research data stewardship. In all these papers we didn't find yet this all-inclusive perspective we are taking now for as a VSNU. But we still think that, yeah, if you really invest in trying to change something in this reward system, then this whole perspective is very valuable, because it's very difficult. A lot of people are involved in well, evaluating researchers, in the reputation of researchers. You might not be able to read all this, but the idea is that peers and students and ERC and NWO in the Netherlands and a board of the universities, they all have influence in the way researchers are evaluated. So if you try to change something in one of these at one of these stakeholders, then you well, should try to change everything, or everything moves. It's a cultural change to change the reward system. We are in an international playing field, so we cannot change it from only one country. And I think we should all work together, and it would be very. We hope actually that there will be taken steps at the level of the European Commission, for example, at the ERC, because if the ERC changes something in the review process, then that will have a lot of effect on the rewarding of scientists at other places, at universities and at other research councils. Excellent research data stewardship should get the recognition it deserves, but excellent teachers, entrepreneurial scientists and excellent team leaders also should get the recognition they deserve. And to make that happen, we need to recognize a wide range of evaluation criteria. Different career paths in science should be possible, and teamwork needs to be rewarded. Thank you very much.
It's perfect timing. Time for questions. We have 10 minutes, I think, for questions.
Okay, so you've made it very clear that open science is one of 4 areas that need to be considered. In your conversations with the senior stakeholders, do you feel that each of them is 25%, or do you feel that there's one that's dominant that may influence the other other three?
No, I don't think that any of these four is 25%. I think it really depends on who you speak to, because what open science is, not everyone agrees on what open science is. So some people see open science as, well, that's about open access publications and research data, and that's it. Other people think, well, open science is a real movement, a real change of the way we do science, and we should involve other people more in science. And then, and the people who have this opinion, I think that that open science is a real important driver for changing the reward system. But on the meeting I was this morning, I think everyone thinks the teaching is really important, because I think what the university should do is research, teaching, and valorization, what we say in the Netherlands. And everyone agrees that research and teaching are the two most important things of these three, and that in a lot of, I think in a lot of rewards discussions, or if a researcher has his yearly reward, how do you call that? In het TU Delft R&O gesprek, a performance review, then a lot of attention is going to publications and citations, and to get more attention for teaching. For a lot of people, that's the most important thing. So it depends. Yeah.
Any more questions? Oh, down at the back. Oh, can you throw that far?
Okay. That's right. Oh, you're here.
Hi, Kim. My name is Rahul. I work currently at DANCE, Data Archiving and Network Services. But this question is from my personal point of view. I see that VSNU is quite busy with the digital samenleving, the digital society agenda, and also the internationalizing agenda. I was last week on Wednesday at Den Haag. Mm-hmm. My question is, when you see this new matrix for recognizing open science done by scientists, how do you incorporate this new matrix into the digital society agenda and into the internationalization point of VSNU, and what would be the political steps that should be taken? Thanks.
I think that's three questions in one. The internationalization agenda we presented last week, I think that's actually a little bit more on education, internationalization of education, and not so much on the internationalization of research, because that's so international already. I think we don't really need to make an agenda on that topic. Yes, it's true. The Digital Society is a project we do at VSNU, where we work together as 14 universities on a subject, a very broad subject, and it's the first time that we really work together on a well, scientific level. Mostly we work together on the level of policy making. I actually don't. Maybe I should ask the question to you back. How do you see that this digital society agenda comes together with this reward agenda? Because I don't have a really feel what you mean.
I'm also working with the EOSC pilot, European Open Science Pilot, and one of the things I'm doing is in the work package 7, I'm also including those new metrics and try to see how the EOSC can include these new matrices. And if you look at the digital samenlevings, digital societies agenda, sorry to mix up, you see that there are a lot of, there is a common path going about responsible data sciences. And there I can see that within this, the researcher can use the responsible data sciences to get some recognition, saying that software sustainability, the use of the valorization of the work that they are doing, responsible data savings in the repositories. So those things, I think they are really embedded into the digital society agenda. And that's how I see it. But yeah, I also know that the digital society agenda is still in the working. And so,
yeah, and I think
but
that,
I
that
thought
agenda,
like you had more information.
well, that agenda is actually, it's really about the research itself. So it's really about working together as 14 universities on research projects. I think what I just discussed is more on a policy level. So giving the, how you say, giving the right ground for our researchers to do their work, and so I think that those are a little bit separate things we are working on, and I actually think that it's also complex enough to get this whole broad perspective of on evaluation and rewards, than to mix it with another thing we do as well.
Yeah, because one of the yeah, sorry, the other way.
You can, I mean, I want to get us back on track, because then we have a lot of time, you know, during the drinks reception, and you can, you know, you will be around, right? So, so I think we'll move to the next talk. Yeah, and thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you.